Okay, good morning everyone. Everyone kindly switch on your videos. Okay, so today we will discuss about means revise about the dimensions of health. Okay, so anybody remembers how many dimensions of health were there? Anybody? How many dimensions of health were there? It's okay, you can speak up. This is not an examination, you can speak up. Even if you were wrong, I'll correct you. So I just want you all to speak. So do you all remember how many dimensions of health were there? Five. Okay, anybody else? Okay, you were close enough. There are actually 6 dimensions of health. Okay, good that you said something. So, what were the 6 dimensions? Physical, mental, social, spiritual, vocational, and emotional. Okay, so these are the 6 dimensions of health. Now, if I say physical dimension, it means a perfectly functioning human body. So the capacity to do a physical task, okay, so these have been considered under the physical dimension. Also certain signs, okay, certain signs of physical health are there, such as clear skin, lustrous hair, okay, firm flesh, less fat, good muscles, okay, good appetite, and sound sleep, regular bowel and bladder. So these are some signs that have been considered as an indication of your physical health. Okay, all these things come under your physical dimension. Although these alone cannot define that a person is healthy, but at least from the physical aspect, all these things say that a person is at least physically fit. Okay, maybe he is not fit mentally or socially, but at least these signs are like enough to define a person as a physically fit person. Okay, so next comes your mental dimension. So what is mental dimension? It is defined as a state of balance between the individual and the surrounding one. That is the person's own satisfaction with himself, okay, the happiness with himself, the satisfaction with himself, and also with the people surrounding him. Okay, all these things come under your mental dimension. Then third was your social dimension, which means social harmony and well-being. Okay, so these things come under your social dimension, that is harmony and peace with the members of the society. Okay, if you say society, society is a smaller term, or if in a bigger aspect if you see, then harmony with the world. Okay, then next comes your spiritual dimension. So a spiritually healthy person, so he will look for a purpose in life, the basic ethics of life. All this comes under your spiritual dimension. So and then emotional dimension, all this refers to the state of being happy, sad, angry, agitated, depressed, or anxious, whatever it is. So all these things, they play an important role in the person's health. So this comes under your emotional dimension. Next is your vocational dimension, which means the work of the person he is engaged in, or the job of the person. That is when he is satisfied with his work. Okay, his self-esteem is boosted, he has good correlations with his colleagues. Okay, so all this comes under your vocational dimension. So a person, he also needs to be satisfied with his work. Okay, so these things come under your vocational dimension. So now if there is a question like ethics and purpose of life, all these are related to which dimension of health? So what will be your answer? Yes? Did anyone say spiritual dimension? Okay, that's correct. Good. That is spiritual dimension. Okay. Then next, if I say which dimension of health is related to the job of the person? So what will be your answer? Anyone?
Vocational.
Yes, vocational. Good. Then clear skin and lustrous hair. So these are the signs of which dimension of health?
Emotional.
Sorry?
Ma'am, physical.
Yes, physical. Because clear skin and lustrous hair, all this are physical dimension, no? Because you can see them, so these are physical ones, okay? Now then, a person being satisfied with himself and his surrounding. Okay, a person is happy with himself and also with his surrounding. So all these come under which dimension of health?
Mental dimension.
Yes, good. It's mental dimension. Then harmony with the other members of the society and the world. So this signifies which dimension of health?
Okay.
Sorry, you said something? I said harmony with the other members of the society and the world at large. So this signifies which dimension of health?
Ma'am, social.
Yes, social. Okay, so now I hope it's clear to all the dimensions of health. So if you keep on revising in this way and asking questions, so this will make you remember things. Okay, so there are 6 dimensions of health. So now there was another topic where we discussed about preventive medicine, social medicine and community medicine. Okay, so now if there is a question like to which people, okay, the preventive medicine is applied to, okay, to what kind of people, like healthy people or to the sick people? So what will be your answer? Preventive medicine is applied to which group of people, the healthy ones or the sick ones?
Sick. Healthy one.
Yes, healthy one. Okay, not sick one but healthy ones. Good. So preventive medicine is applied to the healthy people. Why? As a means of prevention, like for example vaccinations. So we apply vaccination to the healthy people. Okay, so it comes under your preventive medication. So the primary objective of preventive medicine is to prevent the disease and the promotion of health. Okay, these two are the primary objective of your preventive medicine. Okay, under that comes your level of prevention. So I hope you remember that some say it is 3 and some say it is 4. Okay, if you say it's 4, then you can add up primordial, otherwise it's primary, secondary and tertiary. Now study of man as a social being in his environment. So this comes under which, like form of medicine. Study of man as a social being in his environment. So this signifies which form of medicine?
Social medicine.
Yes, good. That is social medicine, okay? So it focuses on the health of the community. So it is the study of the medical needs and the medical care of the society. And then social and preventive medicine together, they are termed as dash medicine. So what is that?
Community medicine.
Yes, good. That is community medicine. So it deals with the population and the needs, and also the doctors and the healthcare workers who measure the need of the population, okay, both sick and well. So in preventive medicine it was only about the healthy people, and but here both the sick and the healthy ones, okay, and then give services to both these two groups. So this comes under your community medicine. Now, does anyone remember about the natural history of disease? How many phases were there under the natural history of disease?
First two phases.
Yes, correct. Two phases. Anybody remembers what were the name of the phases?
Photogenesis and photogenesis.
Okay, good. Okay, that's it's pathogenesis, okay? Pre-pathogenesis and pathogenesis phase. Okay? Pathogenesis means it's related to the pathogen, okay? So that means the disease causing organism. So man in the midst of disease. So man in the midst of disease, this falls under which phase? Pre-pathogenesis or pathogenesis? Anyone?
Ma'am, repeat the question.
Men in the midst of disease, okay, men in the midst of disease. So this falls under which phase? Pre-pathogenesis phase or pathogenesis phase?
Pre-pathogenesis phase.
Yes, good, good. So it's the pre-pathogenesis phase, okay? So I'll tell you why it's pre-pathogenesis phase. See, under the natural history of disease, we have these two phases, pre-pathogenesis and pathogenesis. So what do you mean by pathogen? Pathogen means the disease causing organisms, okay? So if I say pre-pathogenesis phase, this means the organism has, or the disease causing organism which we call as the pathogen, this has not yet entered your body. So men or people, so they are residing amidst the disease, okay, amidst the disease means the disease is present in the environment but it has not yet entered your body. So that is the pre-pathogenesis phase. Okay, so I gave you the example of this COVID-19 scenario. So there is disease, there is the disease, but the healthy people to whom it has not entered or the virus has not entered their body, so that these people are at the pre-pathogenesis phase, that is men in the midst of disease, okay, MIDST, men in the midst of disease. That disease is there, it's in your surrounding, it's in the environment, you are exposed to all the risk factors of the disease, but still you have not developed the disease. So this phase is called as the pre-pathogenesis phase. When it comes to pathogenesis phase, it means that the pathogen or the disease causing organism has already entered your body, okay, and it has started the disease process. This is the pathogenesis phase. And under pathogenesis phase, there are again three different sub phases, okay, which are your disease control, disease elimination and disease eradication. So if I say disease control, so this means reducing the incidence of disease. By incidence I mean the number of new cases, okay, that is incidence. And reducing the duration of disease, reducing the complication of the disease, and reducing the financial burden to the family. So all this comes under your disease control, okay. So in this disease control, the agent is present in the community. That means the virus is present in the community but at a very low level, okay, and it is like no longer a threat to the public health. I gave you an example. For example, malaria control. Okay, so malaria disease is already there, it is present in the surrounding, the mosquitoes are also present in the surrounding, but still the threat is less, okay, because of the proper disease control measures that were taken. Next come is your disease elimination. So disease elimination, it refers to the interruption of transmission of disease in large geographical area. Okay, so if you consider a larger geographical area, for example, again I'll give the same example, that is COVID-19. So what we are doing now is we are trying to break the chain, or which we can say as interruption of transmission, or in layman terms it's break the chain. So how we are doing it? Through the preventive measures. So why are we doing this? To eliminate the disease. So this is your disease control. Okay, so we are doing this so that there are no more new cases, or so that we can eliminate the disease. But these steps will not kill the virus, right? So what this will do? These steps will only prevent the transmission of disease. So this comes under your disease elimination. Now if I say disease eradication, which is the third subphase, so disease eradication means termination of all transmission of infection by extermination of the infectious agent, which means that the measures that are taken to kill the pathogen itself, or to destroy the pathogen itself, that is a disease causing organism. Okay, so that comes under your disease eradication. And for now, smallpox is the only disease that have been eradicated, that is only the smallpox virus was eradicated, or that virus was destroyed. So that is the only disease till now that could have been eradicated. So these are the three phases that comes under your pathogenesis phase. Any questions regarding this? Any questions? Anyone? Any confusion regarding these subphases, or is this clear? Yes, you can ask me if you have got any doubt. Yes, anyone, any doubts? Please repeat the pathogenesis phase. Okay. See, pathogenesis phase means the disease causing organism, that is the pathogen, okay, that has already entered your body. Okay, so now since it has entered your body, now you have to take certain measures to stop the disease, or to control the disease, or to eradicate the disease. Okay, so according to that, under your pathogenesis phase there are three subphases. Okay, so now the disease is already there, the pathogen has entered your body, so the pathogen has a susceptible human host. Now under the pathogenesis phase there are three subphases. Number one is disease control, number two is disease elimination, number three is disease eradication. So if I say in simple terms, disease control means you are controlling the number of new cases. Okay, that means you are trying to aim at the reduction of the number of new cases, to reduce the duration of the disease. That means for the time being till which the disease lasts, we are trying to reduce that. And also the complication of the disease, that means every disease has got certain complications, right? For example, diabetes has a complication that it can damage your retina. Okay, so there are several other complications, I am giving just one example. So reducing the complication of the infection, and then reducing the financial burden on the family, that means to support the family financially. So all this comes under your disease control. And in disease control, the pathogen or the disease causing organism, it is present at a very low level in the surrounding, okay, or it is no longer a threat to the public health. For example, your malaria. So malaria is a disease that is still present in the environment. Then malarial mosquitoes are also there in the environment, but still we have taken the proper protective measures that we should take, and because of that, that is we sleep with mosquito net, right? There is proper drainage system. So in some areas proper control are taken for malaria, that it is no longer a threat for human being, because mosquitoes, the main host that carry the malarial germ, that is present in the environment, but still it is not a bigger threat if you compare it with a disease such as COVID-19, right? So malaria, it has got a lesser threat, so this comes under your disease control. So next is your disease elimination. What we do is we try to stop the transmission of the disease, okay, that is the spread of the disease. We try to stop the spread of the disease. So the precautionary measures that we are taking now, that is wearing mask, using sanitizers, washing our hands, okay, using disinfectants. So why are we doing this? Through this, what can be done? Through this we can limit or we can stop the transmission of the disease, okay, but through this we cannot kill the infectious organism, okay. It means if we are taking these preventive measures, this will help in stopping the transmission of the COVID-19 disease, but this will not kill the virus, right? So this comes under your disease elimination. Now next is your disease eradication. So disease eradication aims at directly killing the organism itself, okay, that is the root cause, that is the organism. So it aims at killing that organism itself. So till now only one disease have been eradicated, that is the organism of only one virus, that is the smallpox virus, have only been eradicated till now. So there is no virus and also there is no transmission of the disease. So this comes under your disease eradication. So in disease control, the agent is present in the community but it is of a lower threat. In disease elimination, the agent is present but we are trying to break the chain or interrupt the transmission. And in disease eradication, what we are trying to do is we are trying to kill the organism itself that is causing the disease. And polio is the only disease that have been eradicated till now, okay. So these are the three subphases. Clear to all? Anyone? Any more doubt? Any more doubts? And pre-pathogenesis you understood, right? That is before the pathogen enters your body. So that phase is the pre-pathogenesis phase. So anyone like who have not been affected till now, okay, because of this COVID-19, so you can consider yourself to be in the pre-pathogenesis phase. That is the disease is already there, okay, you are exposed to all the risk factors. Now because it is so highly transmissible disease that you are exposed to all the risk factors, you are in the midst of the disease. So this phase is known as man in the midst of disease, because you are there, okay, and disease is around you, okay, it is surrounding you from all the sides, but still it has not entered your body. So you are said to be in the pre-pathogenesis phase, okay. Anyone? Any more doubts? Okay, so what I have thought is most of the topics were covered, that is all the topics were covered. Apart from it, we are also doing revision of one or two topics each day, okay. So like if there are some easier topics, so I would like to give you as presentations, okay? So one or two of you can group up and then you can present a concept or a theory every day. Okay, so if you have any doubts in any topic, you can ask me. Okay, I'll repeat that in the next class if you want to. That if you are finding, suppose, topics like chickenpox, smallpox, if you are finding that these are tough topics and you want me to explain them again, I'll do that in the next class again. But then if there are no such topics, then we will go for like this presentation. So one of you will present it like one topic every day, and regarding that topic we'll prepare some questions, and if anyone have any doubt, I'll clear them. Okay, is it good for all? Nothing to worry, just that you already the topics are given to you. Okay, whatever I have given, I'll let you present those topics only, nothing new. So you just have to go and read up just one topic and then speak up in the next class. If you have any doubt, you can ask, and the rest also you read about that similar topic. So in this way your revision will also be done properly. So is it okay for all? Okay, so I'll give one easy topic for tomorrow, that is concepts of health and concepts of disease. Okay, that is there are certain theories of health and certain theories for disease, right? For example, in your health there was this biomedical theory, right? You all remember that biomedical theory, epidemiological triad and all this were under your disease. Okay, so this concepts of health, one of you present concepts of health, anyone else present the concepts of disease. So anyone wants to do that voluntarily? Means you want to say that I want to present this. If not, then I'll choose. So if any one of you want to present it, you can do it. Presentation means I don't need those PPT presentations and all. You just have to say whatever you understood. Okay, I don't need PPT presentation because that will be again time consuming and you already have the notes. So it's better not to go for PPT presentations, just that you read up that topic, that is the maybe the concepts of health. It is an easy topic, so just maybe one or two line from each concept. Okay, so easy. Anyone wants to do that concept of health? Okay, so you will do it. Okay, Jugal will do concepts of health tomorrow. Okay, so anyone else wants to do concepts of disease, that is the germ theory, epidemiological triad, multifactorial causation? Anyone? See, anyway we will do this every day, so everyone's turn will come one day, so better you pick up an easy one now. Okay, so concepts of disease, anyone? Gina, okay. So Gina will do concepts of disease and Jugal will do concepts of health tomorrow. Okay, you don't need to prepare PPT presentations, just that you read up the topic, then you just make it explain to the class. Okay, explain it to the class whatever you have understood by reading that. Okay, after that if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, I'll explain it to you, and after you finish, if you want, then I'll explain it again, and then we will like ask questions, maybe like MCQs from that particular topic. So in that way your revision will also be done properly one by one. Okay, so today we'll wind up the class, and CR you send me the attendance. Okay.